I'll just repeat for recording purpose. So wrapper classes are nothing but the object classes for the primitive data types. What are the primitive data types? All the data types that starts with the small letter are called as the primitive data types. All the data types that starts with the small letter are called as the primitive data types. For each primitive data types, there is a corresponding wrapper data type or the object data type. For each primitive data type, there is a wrapper data type or the object data type. So, if you see the wrapper data types, all the data types are started with capital letter. So, all of these are the objects. For byte, it is byte, short, long. For int, it is integer. For float, double. For char, it is character. For boolean, it is boolean. Okay. Moving on to the simple program where we'll see how do we create the wrapper objects, right? In case of primitive data types, it is very simple. As we had seen a number of times, we just need to specify the data type and its variable name equals and the value. But in case of object data types, obviously we can create the object data types by using the new keyword only, right? So if I want to create an integer variable or an integer object, this is the way that we can create integer I1 equal to new integer of 10. Here I also holding the same value 10, here also it is holding the same value of 10, but here this is a primitive variable, but here it is a object. Here it is a object. Let's see how the other data types that we can create. Byte v1 equal to 10. Same thing, byte, while you are writing the data type, the object, you can see the automatic suggestions, right? So all these are available in the java.lang package. Byte v2 equal to new byte. Because 10 is by default automatically it will be treated as a integer. That's the reason we are doing this one. We'll go back to this point later why we do this. Okay. Next, short s1 equal to 10. Similarly, the corresponding short object can be created by using short, which is available in the java.lang package. Short s2 equal to new short of 10. So here also it gives the same thing. Just click on the red line for now. I do this. Right. Byte short. What else? What is the next thing? Long. Long L1 equal to 100. Corresponding long object is long L2 equal to new long of 100. What's the next one? Int, we had already seen the float. Let's look at the float, or I'll put it here. Float f1 equal to 10. Float f2 equal to new float. Next data type is double. B1 equal to 100.77 double B2 equal to new of 100.77. Next data type, char. So how do we initialize the char variables? Single quotes, some letter, one single alphabet letter. Character C2 equal to new character of A. Here, what is the next one? Boolean. Boolean B1 equal to B1 is already used. That's the reason it is some X1. Corresponding Boolean is Boolean X2 equal to new Boolean of. This is the way we'll create the object. So far, whatever the variables that we have learnt, right, the primitive data types, in real time, we are very likely less to use them. But mostly we'll be using the wrapper data types. Wrapper data types. We'll be mostly using the wrapper data types. Now we had left about the string. Why did not put string here is there is no primitive data type for the string data type. String is always starts with the capital letter, right? So string is already the object data type. It doesn't have the corresponding primitive data types. Okay, string always comes in wrapper data type. So what are the various ways to create the string? String s1 equal to abc, s1 is already used, so let's make the change of the variable. String y2 equal to new string of abc. This is how we'll create the objects for each data type, the wrapper type for each object. Any doubts, guys, so far? I'm not going to write the yes outs. You can write it yourself and then do the practice. But our main intention here is to learn how do we declare and initialize them. So this is the way that we declare and initialize them, both the primitive data types and the object data types. Any doubts so far? Any doubts, please? All clear? Can I move to the next one?
Yes, yes, Rahul, can
Cool.
all good.
Now let's move to the next topic, that is typecasting. Typecasting. I'm going to create a new package, typecasting. Okay, let's write some notes here. converting the data types from one primitive data type to another primitive data type is called as type casting. Converting the data types from one primitive data type to another primitive data type is called as type casting. Okay. What are the various ways of typecasting? There are two ways or two types. Two types. One is auto widening. Auto widening. Second one is explicit narrowing. Auto widening and explicit narrowing. There are two types. One is auto widening and explicit narrowing. So now we are coming to the point why I was emphasizing you to remember the data types in this order. Okay, I'm just copy pasting from here from the wrapper types to casting here. These are the data types, right? Let's say I create a variable, okay, of type byte. If I want to convert it to either short or long, int or float or double, right? Whenever I create any variable of type byte, so what are the various possible data types that I can convert? Short, long, int, float and double. Why? Because all these five or six, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 data types are related to the numbers, right? Basically these are related to the numbers. I can convert a variable which was created of type byte to short, byte to long, byte to int, byte to float, byte to double, right? If I'm converting a value from a data type which is on the left side and I am converting it to the variable of data type to the right side, to its right side, then it is auto widening. That is the reason I was emphasizing you to remember in this order. If you remember in this order, if you convert a variable of type byte to any of the remaining five data types, then it is auto widening. It is automatically widening will happen. Automatically widening will happen. So that means moving from left to right, it is always widening. Moving from right to left, it is always narrowing. Okay. Moving from left to right in the above sequence is widening. Okay, moving from right to left in the above sequence is narrowing. Okay, now why I am saying auto widening and explicit narrowing? Because the compiler, the Java compiler supports the widening automatically. We don't have to do anything. Java does the widening automatically. Okay, but narrowing the developer, I mean whoever is writing the code, either you or me or anybody, right? Whoever are writing the code, it has to be taken care by the developer. That's the reason it is explicit, otherwise it will give the compilation error. Otherwise it will give the compilation error. Auto widening is supported by the Java compiler automatically. Widening is supported by the hence it is called as auto widening. Okay. Narrowing should be handled by the developer. Who are the developers? We are the developers. Whoever is writing the code, they are the developers. Narrowing should be handled by the developer. Hence, it is called as explicit narrowing. Okay. Now, let's see how we'll do this programmatically. Let's create a new class A. SVM. I'll put it in the separate one side. All right. So first I'll create a variable of type byte. Byte b1 equal to some 10. Okay. Now I'll assign the same value of b1, that is 10, to a new variable which is of type short. Short s1 equal to b1. This is possible. We are assigning the value of one variable to another variable, but here it is a two different types. B1 is of type byte and S1 is of type short. It has not thrown any error. Automatically it has been accepted. Right? Similarly, what else we can do? This is from, if you see here, b1, that is on the byte which is on the left side, we are converting it to short which is on the right side, right? So moving from left to right in the above sequence is widening. Okay, widening. But the same way I'll create a new variable byte b2 equal to, I'll assign the value of s1. How it works is giving the error. We are assigning the value which is of type which is on the right side to left side, right? Right side to left side. It is giving the error because we need to do the casting explicitly. We need to do the casting explicitly, that is narrowing. We are reducing the scope of the data type, that is narrowing. So how do we do the narrowing? So just before this variable we need to put brackets and then write the data types to which we are assigning. This is explicit narrowing. If we are doing like this before any data type, then that means that is the explicit narrowing. But here we are not doing this. This is automatic widening. Here also you can do it, but even if you do it, it doesn't have any value here, because compiler, even if you do it or if you don't do it, compiler will do it automatically. But here it is mandatory that as a developer we need to do it explicitly, right? Here if you see the same thing, byte is grayed out, it is in the light color, but here it is in the bold color, byte clear blue color. Why? Because Whenever you see anything in this grayed out color, that means it doesn't have any value. It is redundant. It doesn't have any value. But when you do it in this color, that means that is required. That has some meaning here. Okay. Here it is auto widening. It is explicit narrowing. Any doubts here, guys? Okay. Even before that, I will write one more statement in terms of int, which we are mostly comfortable with. Int I1 equal to 100. Okay. And int I2 equal to 100. Right. Int I3 equal to I1. What is the difference between these three statements? We are creating a variable I1 with the value of 100 and I2 with the value of 100. And I3 I am creating with the value of I1. What is the value of I1 here? 100. The same value is getting reassigned to I3. The value of some other variable is getting assigned to some other variable. Okay, some other variable. So while assigning the values of other variables to some other variables, while assigning the values of one variable to another variable, right, while assigning the values from one variable to another variable, so those variables can be of different data types. It is not always mandatory that we should have the same data types of those variables. It can be of different data types. If they are different data types, then the typecasting will come into picture. If they are of different data types, then the typecasting will come into picture. Let me write the notes right even before this. Assigning the values from one variable to another variable. Another variable. While those variables may or may not be same. If they are same like this, that's okay. There is no problem. But sometimes they will be different like this. Okay. If those variables are of same data type, it is simple. But if they are different data types, then then typecasting comes into picture. Okay. We are just assigning the values from one variable to another variable. I1 is already initialized with 100 here, and while creating the I3, I am not initializing some value. I am initializing the value of I1. Let's say later here I1 had become 200. My requirement is I3 should always have the same value of I1. right? So in the next step, I1 will become 400. My requirement is I3 should always have the same value of I1. So what we do, int I3 equal to I1. That is the latest value of I1. Okay. While doing this, both I1 and I3, if both of them are same data types, here I1 is also int and I3 is also int. So there is no problem. It is very simple and very clear, right? But if you come here, these are the two different data types. Here B1 is of type byte and S1 is of type short. When the data types are different, then the typecasting will comes into picture. When the data types are different, then the typecasting comes into picture. Okay. If we are assigning a variable of type which is on the left side to the right side, then it is auto widening. Here we are assigning the value of b1, right? B1 to which data type? Short. So b1 is of which data type? Byte. Byte is on which side? Left or right? Left side. So the target is what? Short, right? Short is on which side to byte? Right side. Right side to byte. So it is auto widening. So in this order, that is the reason I had put this arrow marks also. There is a reason I had put the arrow marks also. If it is moving from left to right, then it is auto widening. We don't have to do anything. It is simple. Just we do in this way. Even if it is the same data types or the different data types, if it is from left to right, it is simple. You don't have to do anything. But if the same assignment is happening from right side to left, which is of type short, S1 is what type here? Short is where? Here, right? The target is byte. So byte is of which side to short? Left side, right? So while assigning from right side to left side, then it is explicit narrowing. This is called as the explicit typecasting or the explicit narrowing. If we don't do this, you will get the error. It is not allowed. See, required type is byte, provided is short. The answer is cast to byte. Clear now, guys? Any confusion? Others, please.
All good, Raghu.
Cool. I'll just put it here. Let's write more examples in this. Okay. Now long L1 equal to B1. So this is auto widening or explicit narrowing? Int I5 equal to B1. Okay. Float F1 equal to B1 double B1 equal to B1. Okay. So we cannot assign these data types to either char or boolean because they are the different category, right? These things, char holds the single character, boolean holds the true or false. With respect to the numbers, these are the only similar data types, right? Which takes only the numbers. Okay. Now long L1 equal to B1, right? Similarly, long SL2 equal to S1, right? Int I6 equal to L1. Okay. Next, float F2 equal to I6, I5. double b2 equal to, now long L1 equal to B1. Look at this sequence and then tell me it is auto widening or explicit narrowing. What is the source data type? Source is this one, left, which is on the right hand side. Don't get confused here. Here this is right hand side, but here you need to see the different things. So B1 is of which data type? Guys, please respond.
Byte.
Byte. We are assigning B1 to which data type?
Too long.
Long. So long is on which side of byte? Is it on the
Right side.
right side or left side?
Right side.
Right side. So if it is on the right side, what is it?
Auto widening.
Auto widening. Next, long L2 equal to S1. So S1 is of which type?
Short.
Narrow.
Short. Right. So we are assigning the value of short to which type?
Long.
Long. So long is on which side to short?
Right side.
Right side. So what is this?
Same auto widening.
Same auto. Now I5, int I5 equal to B1. B1 is of which type?
Byte.
Byte. Right. So byte is on which side to int? The target?
Left side.
Left side.
Yeah.
Left side. B1 is what?
Byte.
Byte. And we are assigning to which type? Int.
Two.
So is it on the left or right?
Oh, for byte it is on right side.
Yes. You need to see the target data type is on the left side or right side to the source data type. So this will be the source data type and this will be the target data type, right? So what you need to see is the target data type is on the left side or right side of the source data type. So that is the logic here. You might get confused while doing the practice, but please remember this is the source data type, this is the target data type, right, to which we are assigning. So we need to see the target data type is lying on the left side or right side of the source data type. That is the logic you need to see. So B1 is byte. So byte is byte, right? And then int. Int is on which side of byte?
Right side.
Right side. So auto. Next, we are assigning the value of L1 to int. L1 is of which type?
Long.
Long. We are assigning to which type?
Int.
Int. So int is on which side of the long?
Right side. Right side.
Right side. Int is on the
Earlier you said initially that int is
But we are assigned L1 equal to B1 on the top. So maybe show it is showing error.
no. This L1 it just takes care of L1 only. It doesn't care what we are doing here. At the end of the day, what is the data type of L1? It is long. Okay. Long we are assigning to int. What is the error here? Provided. I think the sequence is different. I think.
first int then byte short int long.
Anybody remember what was that sequence exactly? Byte short int. Byte short int. Third one is the int, not the long. This is the problem. Int and here it is long. Short int long float double. Okay. Sorry guys. Okay. Now you see this. L1 is of which type?
long
Long. And we are assigning to which data type?
to int,
Int. So int is on the left side or right side of long?
left side,
Left side. So that means we are moving from right to left. Right. So right to left is always explicit narrowing. That's the reason it is giving the error. So what do we need to do? We need to do the explicit narrowing. So how do we do the explicit narrowing? This is the way we do the explicit narrowing. Just before the variable name, we need to put the brackets and then we need to put the target data type. Whatever is there here, the same data type. It is explicit. Now float f1. So we know these are all auto widening. These things are not showing any error, right? Now double d2 we have, right? Let's see, int i7 equal to d2. What is this? D2 is of which type?
double,
Double. We are assigning the double to which data type?
inted,
Int. So double is here and then int is here. So is it left to right or right to left?
or right to left.
Right to left. So it is explicit narrowing. Just click on this red bulb or red line. You can put the very first answer, right? So in this way, you can practice at least 100 examples with this sequence. You can practice 100 examples. You try with byte to all this side and then take double to all this side, double to float, double to long, double to int, double to short, double to byte, float to double, float to long, float to int, float to short, float to byte, long to float, long to double, long to int, long to short, long to byte, int to long, int to float, int to double, and then int to short, int to byte, short to int, short to long, short to float, short to double, and short to byte. So these many combinations you can write for your practice. But the logic is the same for all the programs. Clear? Any doubts here? Any confusion? Will you be doing the practice or not? Okay, so I'll stop this topic here. I'll continue in the next class. From tomorrow onwards, we will not have the Java classes for all of you. There are a few new joiners, right? So for them there will be the backup classes, right? So whatever the classes they have missed since the beginning, I'll cover those backup classes for those new joiners. For the old people, right, everybody, there will be a class from some other expert on the database. He is a database expert, his name is Mohan. Okay, he will take the database classes. So here I'll divide the batch into two teams. This is only for next 3 or 4 days, right? So I would say Sumant and Siddiq, these two are the new candidates. So I need to cover the Java from the starting. So I'll take only those two people separately, the Java classes. Remaining people will have to attend the database session. Anybody else wants to join my session instead of database session here?
Raghu, I'll join Raghu.
Okay, no problem. Anybody else?
I will also join.
No, I'll not accept you. You go and join database class.
Okay.
Anybody else wants to join the Java classes? So I'll take only Sumant, Siddiq and Raghav, those three people for the Java classes, and all others should attend the database classes. I'll take the attendance from each of you, right? Class will be at the same time, 8 to 9. Okay, I'll create two different meeting invites for two different sessions, right? So these three people should come here and remaining people should go there.
The same timings or different?
Same timings, 8 to 9. You will be in the database class, these three will be in the Java class, 8 to 9. Any doubts here?